Hey, it's Carrie. If you're here, I'm guessing you've recently Googled something like how to stay sane while separating from a narcissist, or how not to lose your mind when your mom gaslights you about Thanksgiving. Welcome. You're in the right place. So, about a week ago, I posted this TikTok where I modeled what it sounds like to talk to yourself when you're trying to stay regulated after divorcing a narcissist and interacting with them. I said, I will not give him the dignity of losing my shit. It was simple, but sometimes that one sentence is all you've got. That's your tether to sanity for the day. And then someone left a comment that stopped me in my tracks. They said, not divorcing, but trying to leave my narcissistic mother. I'm just learning this, and you're right. So today, I want to talk to you, the one who's not leaving a partner, but a parent, specifically a narcissistic mother. Because wow, that is next level hard. Let's be real. Separating from a narcissistic parent is a special kind of emotional labyrinth. Society tells you, but she's your mother. But your brain whispers, but she was never really safe. And now you're stuck in that messy, soul-twisting middle ground where you're grieving someone who's still alive and still pretending that everything is fine. There's this unspoken belief that cutting off or creating distance from your parent is too extreme, and yet you've probably tried everything else first, right? Because before this boundary ever came, there were years, decades of trying to earn connection. You tried being the good daughter, the accommodating one, the one who didn't make waves, the one who tried to fit in, who carried all the emotional weight. The one who smiled through those subtle jabs, the guilt trips, the completely rewritten versions of history. You likely heard something like, "Oh, I never said that." Or, "You're so sensitive." Or perhaps, "I am who I am. I don't know why you're making such a big deal about this." So now you're learning to talk to yourself differently. You're saying, I won't give her the dignity of making me spiral. Because what you may or may not know is that the ultimate supply for a narcissist is to get a reaction out of you. And the bigger, the better. So you're learning to respond, not react. And doing so from a place of knowing yourself and what you're in affinity with, rather than the story that she told you. So you're reminding yourself, I won't play the role she wrote for me. I get to leave the script. And let me tell you, doing that work, it's brave, it's gritty, and it's exhausting. Even if you visit your family and everything is fine. Let's say you go on vacation with them, or to a birthday dinner, or you survive a holiday without any explosions. You still come home feeling off. You're irritable. You snap at your kids or your partner. You feel like a bad person for needing space. You spiral into self-doubt. You beat yourself up for the next week, questioning everything. Until you find your groove again. Until you remember who you are, separate from those family dynamics. That post-visit emotional hangover, totally real. And sometimes just realizing that's what's happening can be incredibly freeing. I mean, you don't just wake up one day and say, oh, I think I'll emotionally untangle myself from my mother today. Maybe after brunch. No. You're probably in the process of unlearning decades of messaging that told you that it was your job to keep the peace, to absorb the blame, or disappear entirely. And the kicker, narcissistic mothers often don't go quietly. They escalate when you set a boundary or are very clear with your words. They make you question your reality, your worth, and your memory of events. You can be 45 years old with your own mortgage, career, and kids, and still hear that little voice inside saying, maybe it is my fault. It's not. Here's what I want you to hear. You don't have to stay in a relationship, any relationship, because it's blood. You don't have to be the emotional punching bag because they're family. And you don't have to explain to people who've never been in your shoes. You get to create peace, even if it means distance. You get to choose your emotional safety over the illusion of family unity. You get to be the one who breaks the cycle. And listen, that doesn't always mean a full cutoff. Sometimes it's emotional detachment. Sometimes it's a very boring text thread that lives in a folder marked gray rock energy. Or it could mean simply keeping interactions with this person more on the surface level. Like, you want to talk about the weather? Great. You want to hear how I'm coping with a difficult situation? Nope. You don't have that access anymore. So you learn to deflect. You learn to steer the conversation where you feel comfortable engaging. The truth is, you fully get to decide. What do you want the relationship to be? How are you willing to interact, if at all? That's where your power lies. And sometimes, just when you do finally get really clear and you have that boundary, they Uno reverse on you. Suddenly, they become that loving and supportive parent that you always wanted. But deep down, you know it's not permanent. It's not that lasting shift or change. It's a strategy, unfortunately, a soft pull back into the family system with an unspoken expectation that you'll slip right back into your role. And when you don't, when you say no, when you stay calm, when you don't let her provoke you, they escalate. Sometimes with drama, sometimes with silence, sometimes with guilt, and sometimes with this weird new version of kindness that feels like a trap. this whole thing, this process of untangling, it's not just hard, it's disorienting. And if you're doing this work right now, if you're drawing lines in the sand, redefining what family even means to you, and unlearning the belief that you're responsible for everybody else's feelings, if you're in that space where you're quietly grieving the relationship you never had, setting new boundaries and trying not to get pulled into the chaos, I want you to know something. You're doing it. And I see you. It may feel shaky. It may feel wrong. It may feel ungrateful even. But it's not. It's called claiming or reclaiming yourself. You are breaking the cycle, and it's messy, confusing, and exhausting, and you don't have to do it alone. This is exactly the kind of work that I help people with. Untangling from high control relationships, rebuilding self-trust, and learning to stay grounded when the guilt or gaslighting kicks in. We don't rush it, we don't sugarcoat it, and we definitely don't do it the traditional way. We do it your way, supportive, intuitive, and rooted in what's real. So if that comment was you, or if you've ever felt that heartbreak of needing to protect yourself from someone who should have protected you, I want you to hear this. You are not overreacting. You are not being mean. You are not selfish. You're healing. You're allowed to walk away from what hurts. You're allowed to take up space. And you can build something healthier. One breath, one boundary, one brave step at a time. You don't have to keep sacrificing yourself to keep the peace. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to be the emotional airbag in a family system built on dysfunction. You get to build something different, something grounded, something real, something that actually feels like love. And if you want someone in your corner while you figure it all out, someone who gets it, who won't tell you to just forgive and move on, who knows how deep this stuff runs, I'm here. Check me out at insightflowwithcarrie.com or comment here. Thanks for coming.